The culture is actually damn good.
You got fire in your gut?
Are you kidding me?
I'm always
I'm calling both games.
Football is full of uncertainty. Look at how stress-inducing any given week of it is. But what if you're bored of such standard fare? What if you desire more tension to your weekend, be it in college or the pros? Well, with DraftKings Sportsbook, the sponsor of this video, they're dangling an enticing offer for all new customers. Bet just $5 on any game and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. The world's your oyster of what can be done on the Sportsbook. Any game, situation, stat line, and future outcome you can think of, you can absolutely place a wager on it. Hell, go bolder and make a same-game parlay. Combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger potential reward. Sadly, DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in all states, but they still offer daily fantasy contests to flex your skills. All you have to do to join in is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code UTREE and bet just $5 on any game and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Remember the promo code UTREE only on DraftKings. And always remember to gamble responsibly. Broncos country, let's ride. Standard torture has not been effective in extracting the maximum amount of pain from your pathetic bodies. Your punishment must be amplified. A throwback to last year against the Chiefs will be the next round of torture. That terrible defense of yours this season will return to their great form once again. Kansas City's struggling offense will continue to struggle as it fails to gain separation and traction. Bafflingly fake field goals? You bet. They'll do everything in their power to get Denver a win tonight, yet there's a catch. This is a throwback to last season. The Broncos offense will return to how insanely shit they were then as well. Did I really say Russell Wilson was fixed? That may have been a lie, especially with how the Chiefs defense is clamping down on him. Only 55 yards of passing in 3 quarters? Are you trying to be this shit, Russ? He's cooking so well tonight you may as well call him Typhoid Mary. Denver, the only thing getting burned is you, as Jerry Jeudy is a useless fuck and Frank Clark played 2 subpar games as he robs you blind. Kansas City was sluggish offensively, but they did enough to win their 16th straight game against these sad fucks. Remember the golden rule. The ride never ends. It only spins faster and faster until you black out from the G-force. Color me unimpressed with this shit pile of a London game. Both teams suck ass, albeit in entirely differing ways. Tennessee is just dead. They are stone cold dead in the ground. King Henry can only do so much, you know. The Titans were flat out dominated in all facets and smited to hell like their opponent was Zeus. Yet if you look at the final score, you'll realize it was only a 1-possession game. That's because, like most weeks, the Ravens refused to take advantage of the gobs upon gobs of opportunities presented to them. So many chances in the red zone wasted away thanks to receiver drops and failures in execution. You better be thanking the holiest deity that the Justin Tucker bot was working as expected. Even then, we witnessed second half Ravens.exe as they implode nearly every facet to only lead by 5. And King Henry is rumbling. Now we wonder if they blow it again. They're fortunate today. Ryan Tannehill's cooked. In fact, he was knocked out of the game in the 4th quarter with major injury. With how sad he's been looking, it might be a mercy killing. Malik Willis then comes in and attracts defenders for sacks like flies on shit. He was sacked 4 times in about 5 minutes. So the Ravens win, yet somehow lose at the same time. The Titans just lose and lose more. What a shit game. Miami's bored of the standard blowouts. Carolina's pretty much lolcow the team, so why not add a touch of a challenge? Don't show up in the first quarter. Gift them a 14-point handicap. The Dolphins need to be kept on their toes, and this is the way to do it. Once the restrictions ended, Miami rolled up their sleeves and rolled over the Panthers like the shit show they are. How much more can you simplify the offense, Mr. Reich? It's not really Bryce, it's the shitty line in front of him. And almost everything else. They can only watch in awe as Tyreek burns their secondary repeatedly. And then get flagged for taunting and fined for the awesome celebration. This game went from competitive to over in about as much time as the Dolphins offense takes to rev into overdrive. The secret is that it doesn't take long at all. Miami, I personally wouldn't recommend getting into this handicap against other teams you play. They won't be as dead on the inside as the Panthers are. This game is somehow for sole possession of the AFC South. Ponder that as you congratulate the Jags on the win. Games in Duval, the Colts have absolutely no chance. For whatever reason, regardless of month or who they throw out there, Indy inexplicably reverts back to a JV team. Is it the humidity? Is it a curse involving Mayflower trucks? Is it something else? Gardner Minshew had his chance at revenge. He hadn't thrown a pick all season to this point. Against his old team, he had 3 of them. And the running game had nothing as well. The Jags offense, meanwhile, had a calm, efficient day, which is a much-needed sight for sore eyes. Indianapolis doesn't have this joy. It's their 8th straight loss in Duval. And their new AR toy isn't just broken, he might need season-ending surgery. This franchise really is cursed. Minnesota still weren't pretending that everything is fine. I'd be calling this one a tank bowl. Team that keeps finding ways to lose games against a team that somehow has the same outcomes for a decade. This is what we call some peak NFC North football, where the points are sparse and the misery is ever present. The Vikings are without Justin Jefferson long-term, and the Bears are without pretty much anything you can shake a stick at. Minnesota enjoys nothing more than amputating their own healthy limbs, so Chicago's still in the game despite their constant struggles. Don't let the close game fool you. Any hope their fans have is slowly dying in a bottle of Malort. And that bottle will soon become 4 of them. Justin Fields is injured, and it involves his throwing hand. You know what that means. It's Tyson Bagent season, boys!
Pressure coming here, and the ball is out. It's still free, and the Vikings pick it up. Down the sideline goes Jordan Hicks, and Hicks is in for the scoop and score.
It lasted all of 5 minutes. The Vikings will continually run into a brick wall because the law forces them to end all games within 1 possession. Don't have too many heart attacks, the Bears underthrow their shot to win like Bagent's final pass. You think you've won, Minnesota? You may have lost the war. Kirk Cousins isn't going to waive his no-trade clause. You're stuck with an anti-tanking brigade. Have fun with that. The up-and-comer hosting a franchise that still thinks they've got it. Little did that old flame know that they have a bum leg, they have liver failure, and their silicone breasts are infested with maggots. Houston continues to do more with less. Pretty much scrounging wins together with a bunch of pebbles and twigs they find on the side of the road. CJ Stroud hadn't thrown an interception in his NFL career until this game. And the Saints were so touched by it that they simply gave the ball back to the Texans. After the initial volleys in the first half, the New Orleans defense did its job. They silenced any remaining opposition and kept them in the game to the end. I am absolutely unsurprised that the Saints shit the bed when opportunity is presented yet again. You wonder why I have no faith in them to do anything? This is why. Pete Carmichael is all the scheming of a 5-year-old's hand caught in a cookie jar. His red zone offense was fucking pathetic. 4 opportunities in or near the red zone, most of them late in the 4th quarter. They end up with only 3 points out of them. Against this ragtag defense, Derek Carr threw for over 350 yards. Pete's just running the same damn plays over and over again. Yes, please, another shitty deep fade to the outside. It totally worked the last 8 times you tried it. I'm fully convinced the team that should have won did. New Orleans couldn't find their way out of a damn paper bag when it matters. Typical. Future scholars of this game will try to analyze and dissect the Falcons' offense. They will fail to understand anything that they tried or attempted to do. They'll scour through different scrolls and all 22s and come to the same consensus. No one knows what the hell they're doing. Those answers are only known to Arthur Smith. And even then, I personally believe the logic is a monkey banging cymbals. Why he sticks with Desmond Ridder despite him being shit, I don't know. All I know is that Washington, led by Faker Mayfield himself, has pushed the commies to collectivize the lead for their own game. They lead by 14 just after halftime, but knowing Washington, they can't seal the deal thanks to Atlanta's defense being sneakily good. The frustrations of watching the Falcons are on full display. Pure idiocy abound. A touchdown after an impressive and lengthy drive puts them within 1 score. Yet Arthur Smith decides to go for 2. Dude, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Take 2. The Atlanta Falcons are once again driving down the length of the field. Desmond Ridder eats a sack, but they get insanely lucky because no one can touch the quarterback. Getting to the goal line in response is good enough. Ridder needs to reinforce to the world that he's ass. What the fuck was that, dude? Seriously?
Oh,
no. In fact, let's do it again! Another drive, another failed 4 and out at the hands of Desmond fucking Ridder. If only they had someone else on the bench that they could use. I don't know if anyone, though. We have 1 more fuck-up to move to. Last chance, and Washington's willing to hand them big yardage. Atlanta's also willing to hand them the game.
Ridder on the slant, intercepted!
God, Desmond Ridder is such fucking shit. He's such shit that farmers are using him to revitalize their soil. At least they'll have some use doing that instead of giving away games left and right. I had this team winning the division? Fucking hell, put in Heineke already. Get a real head coach while you're at it. What is red zone offense? This is apparently one of the most pressing questions of the week if many games on the docket are to be considered. Seattle is supposed to have an offense that can execute in any given situation. Today, they simply executed themselves at every conceivable opportunity. The Bengals offense did enough to start, but only proceeded to score 3 points in the final 40-plus minutes of the game. Seattle's defense had no problem stopping an injured Burrow and Zach Taylor's mystery box of goodies. But the Seahawks one-upped it with a masterclass of incompetence all their own. And it was in the red zone. Seattle had almost double the total yardage that Cincy had on the day, yet the end zone felt like a chastity belt. Nobody gets in, no one has the key. That second half was dog shit abound. Was it more Seattle having a terrible offense or the Bengals defense taking advantage of a weak offensive line and bad schematics? Is it both? The Seahawks should have won this game handily, but it was stopped every time because nobody can do anything in the modern NFL without express written consent. Except field goals and interceptions in the red zone, of course. It gets even more egregious, down by 4 deep in the fourth quarter. The red zone calls again. What do they get? Shipwrecked by the siren's call. God forbid the offensive tackles do their job and seal the edge. But wait, there's more failure to come. Cincy's offense has become pure shit, so Seattle gets another chance. And you bet your ass they fucked it up. You want to just stuff this offense in the trunk of a car and kick it off the pier. It's what this team deserves. You can't get past the Bengals defense, you're done. Bengals escape thanks to more Herculean efforts. That honestly sounds about right. Cleveland is facing shitloads of adversity once again. Another week passes where Deshaun Watson is unable to play thanks to a shoulder injury. This time around, Houston Roughnecks legend PJ Walker gets the call under center. Browns defense, I know you've done pretty much every single thing for the franchise this year, but they're gonna need another carry job. San Francisco is an offense that can score at will and is heavily favored to take you out back and put you out of your misery. Can you manage? Surprisingly, yes. The Niners can do nothing whatsoever against an otherworldly assault. Worst of all, the injury bug is raining down on them like the weather. Deebo Samuel's out. Trent Williams is out. Keep going. Christian McCaffrey's out too. Without elite weapons to insulate him, Brock Purdy is exposed in the open to be shot on sight. It turns into a grindy, ugly, grungy neck-and-neck affair. The type of game that the Niners aren't built to play, and they're exposed in the dog pound. The Niners are down by 3, but they need a miracle to have a chance. Fortunately, they get one. Thank you, PJ Walker. They waltz in for an easy touchdown to regain the lead. But the Browns are a gritty bunch, and the Niners are fatigued. Slowly chip away at that strong defense and force them to bend. At least until a big sack of PJ forcing a field goal. Ideally, this is where the game would end. Too bad the Shanahan offense doesn't have an off switch. 3 and out. Cleveland gets the ball again. And they'll use a kill streak perk. Niners, it's time for you to experience the glories of ref ball. You thought you were safe? Of course not. All teams must suffer, including you as the Browns get to the red zone. They stop them, but not before the field goal is kicked to retake the lead. Frisco, it's pressure time. You know what to do. Finish with everything you have. Brock Purdy manages to thread the needle to field goal range. Fucking amazing. They can escape the labyrinth.
Moody.
San Francisco officially hates the Moody Blues. Just putting it out there that Robbie Gould would have made this kick. His leg's probably getting an itch just thinking about this miss. Cleveland escapes by the skin of their damn teeth because San Fran needed humbling. Man, that defense is really good. Imagine if they had a real quarterback to help them out. Be nice to find one out there somewhere. This is an Arizona Cardinals game, so we know the drill. Play hard, keep it competitive for a little over a half, and then get overwhelmed by the sheer lack of talent on their roster. They're probably the best bad team in the NFL right now. What does that get them? Pretty much nothing besides another L on the stat sheet. If only analytics was able to calculate how many percentage points grit and tenacity had to win probability. Perhaps one of these days they'll be able to stop Kyron Williams from gashing them to bits on strong side runs. Perhaps they'll have answers for the Rams' elite defensive line. Perhaps they'll regain the talent they had about a decade ago and become contenders again. Okay, that one's a bit of a stretch. It's still another week where we don't know what the Rams are. They show flashes of their old glory, but can they unleash it consistently? It's hard to tell against the likes of Arizona. Tampa Bay's brought back the creamsicle uniforms this week. What that also means is that they will also play like those awful Bucs teams as well. I kid, this had a lot more to do with Detroit's utter crushing of whatever was Tampa's spirit. Dan Campbell went out onto the field and put every single member of the Bucs offense in the camel clutch. He would break their backs and force them to submit to his might. Jared Goff in the passing attack humming like a bird against a unit that was simply bested on most drives. Sorry, Tampa, it's nice of you to show up and fight, but you'll need a lot more than that to beat a group like the Lions. The simulation is broken. The long-mocked Detroit squads are vanishing into thin air. The Lions are 5-1 and have a shot at the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're not just winning games, they're convincingly winning. And that goes a long way. All you can do is keep it up. And keep feeding Dan Campbell. His hunger is insatiable. Bill Belichick, even in his declining state, knows that his greatest weakness is a former assistant of his. No matter what he does, he's either too nice to them or they know where to strike. The Hoodies' once proud legions of stormtroopers are now an undisciplined and shiftless rabble of mercenaries and conscripts. Even a coach as shitty as Josh McDaniels can capitalize against a fallen empire. Not to mention the Patriots' offense has been arguably the worst in football this season. And getting worse. The Raiders are up by 10.5, but feel pity on their old master. They allow that terrible offense to generate some form of momentum for a rare offensive touchdown. There's another wrinkle to the challenge. Jimmy Jesus has once again died for our sins. Another former soldier in the Hoodies army, and Brian Hoyer is under center for Phantom Patriots. Fortunately for them, Las Vegas can't solve the undermanned Patriots defense and is forced to kick field goals on 2 red zone possessions. There's one thing that Belichick is good for, it's coming back against the odds. They said he could never do it. They said he was done. They said his offense was pathetic. Well, is it so with an almost 10-minute touchdown drive for a touchdown to go down by 2? McDaniels' boys are buckling again on offense. New England's going to get another chance. Of course, the one dime that Mac Jones throws in the game is dropped by the perennially frustrating Devontae Parker. And then take a delay of game. Same shit, same result.
Jones. Yards deep, and it's a safety! Safety by Crosby!
I think Mac's buried alive in that end zone. The sad part is that Jacoby Myers probably makes that catch. You know, the guy you cast off for Juju Smith-Schuster. How's that move working out for you, Patriots? We were holding off declaring the Patriots dead for the longest time. Now they ain't just dead, the body's been decomposing for months. I think a few rats are living in it. This game played out like every single goddamn Eagles game this season. Jump out to a sizable early lead, inexplicably have everything on offense turn to shit, then slowly toy with your prey instead of going for the kill. Another day passes and another game where Philly fails to play a full 60 minutes occurs. Leading 14-3 against a Jets team without a real QB should be pretty much over. New York's defense was without Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, and more. So why are the Eagles simply choosing to lie down at the first sign of trouble? This isn't even playing down to competition. The Jets' defense is simply taking advantage of a lax opponent. And take advantage they do. Only if they had a real quarterback that can corral the offense instead of simply kick field goals. Wouldn't know anything about that, though. The Eagles' second half of offense was misery incarnate. Fuck-ups on top of fuck-ups on top of fuck-ups. And this is with Jalen Hurts being salmon covered in Vaseline. He and the defensive line are apparently the only ones pulling their weight. Their secondary's at least excused. It's down to practice squad fodder and XFL regulars at this point. Even then, the Jets can do nothing with it because, you guessed it, they don't have a real quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is developing advanced immunization techniques to make his Achilles heal faster in response. Either that or he's helping to make Philly's offense keep fucking up. They must have given all their power to the Phillies or something, because we're nearly back to the Stone Age from this group. Either that or they're saving it for January. Gotta win the games you lead, though. But everything's fine. All you have to do is bleed the clock out and you can win.
Hurts facing a 4-man rush. Over the middle, it's intercepted! Picked off by Tony Adams! Adams on the run! Breaking tackles! Tossed down! Inside the 10!
Of course, the one thing they couldn't do, they serve on a silver platter. Supposed to imitate 2016 Carson Wentz, Jalen, not the 2020 version. This goes to show that on any given Sunday, great teams can play like absolute ass and hand a win to a team that have been craving any sort of hope. If you keep toying with your prey for that long, your prey ends up eating you. I'd have hope for the Jets, but let's be real, they're in the same situation as last year. They have everything except an O-line and a quarterback. History repeats itself. We seriously wasted 3 hours of our lives watching whatever the fuck this was supposed to be. That's how pathetic we are. We spent our time watching the equivalent of a melting stick of butter on the screen and we watched it with a smile on our face. Blink twice if your family's being held hostage. New York is straight up fucked. They're without Danny Derbs, a huge chunk of their offensive line, and Azeez Ojulari tonight. It's hoping that Tyrod Taylor doesn't have a cartoon anvil land on his head or something. That anvil probably landed on the Bills franchise in general. Their offense just can't do anything whatsoever. So the Giants defense playing over their head or the Bills just fucking up non-stop? Quite frankly, I don't want to know the answer. All I know is that this shit is completely unwatchable. Too bad the G-men have no talent because they should be crushing these mistakes non-stop. The only mistakes are on their end. Tyrod decided to play hero ball and audible out of a call for a running play at the 1-yard line before half. They had no timeouts and time expired. Team offense in 2023 in a nutshell. Overthinking everything and doing nothing with it. Bills, can you please do something so we can go to bed or watch baseball or something? The only weapon working for Buffalo is eating shitloads of clock to take us deep into the fourth quarter. Wait a second, 2 straight touchdowns by Buffalo sandwiching a field goal by the Giants? Holy shit, boys, that's too much offense for one day. Better slow it down. And they do against whatever New York's unit's supposed to be. Turnover on downs. Nope. Can finally end this in field goal range, right, Buffalo? Right, Buffalo? Are you fucking kidding me? Now the Giants have another chance, and they're taking advantage of it. The undermanned Bills defense is being diced, marching all the way down to the red zone with time winding down. This team deserves to lose.
Here's the game. Taylor, end zone, incomplete, flag.
Good lord, blatant pass interference? For fuck's sake, Bills, we have work in the morning! You really do deserve to lose.
Taylor over the top to Waller. Can't bring it in. Taron Johnson defends.
I don't know, you guys. That looked a hell of a lot like pass interference to me. Even the refs themselves got tired of this shitty game and wanted to go home. Bills, you got so fucking lucky. You deserve to lose 5 times over for this shit. Kellen Moore's revenge match. Dallas cast him off because Mike McCarthy wanted to run the ball more and save his defense. His new destination is where all hot prospect coaches go to die. The Chargers. It's boisterous asswipe that doesn't shut the hell up and operates himself to high hell against small-town boy who thought he could make it big in Hollywood and is being eaten alive. At SoFi, it's a more grueling affair than 2 strong offenses let on. Neither team can get the running game going, so Dak and Justin will be forced to unleash the aerial attack. It's not much of one to start. Both offenses are struggling to gain traction, and some of that is because both McCarthy and Staley enjoy the art of over-aggression. Despite the high risk of failing 4th down conversions, Dallas at least manages to overcome their own mistakes to kick a field goal just before halftime. The Giants can learn from that. Staley and his Chargers, however, don't. He has an addiction to going for it on 4th and short, and it fails on a rollout. High risk indeed. Dallas does nothing with it, and Liquid LA does kick a field goal on their next drive, however. Begin both Dak and Justin dueling in the abyss known as LA. Spectacular passes and daring feats carrying both teams to the heights of a mid-tier franchise. Oops, Dallas, you can't fuck the ball on punt returns like that. That's going to be Charger ball. And Herbert makes them pay to tie the game. Here is the drive where Dak proves to his haters that he can lead a team to a win, chipping away minutes upon minutes of precious clock. And he completes the job. Limited time remaining and a field goal kick to take the lead. What do the Chargers do in response? Die. Justin Herbert can't do every single thing and finally buckles to the Dallas defense. This is worst case scenario for the Chargers. Look around the AFC. Nearly every team in it won this week. You lost significant ground in the playoff race, and it may hurt in the future. I know it'll hurt us since we have to deal with Cowboys fans this week. Thanks a lot for that. This might have been the worst week of football I've seen in a long while. With how shit most games were from a technical standpoint, I should give it all Cow of the Week. But for this scenario, we go back to the college ranks. Boulder, Colorado specifically. Buffalo's led by Coach Prime up against the Stanford Cardinal, a dying tree that's lost 4 straight and is all but dead to rights. Colorado's beating the shit out of them. It's a party in Boulder, and Coach Prime is trademarking the game as we speak as it's 29-0. The University of Colorado thinks the game is over. They're living it up, talking shit, planning which after party to go to. Shadur Sanders was shilling his merch at halftime, for Christ's sake. It appears this arrogant bunch hasn't learned the golden rule. The game doesn't end until the clock hits 0. Stanford, for as shit as they are, proceeds to do this thing called adjusting. You may have heard of it before. Coach Prime only adjusts his self-promotional tactics. Ever so slightly. The game so lopsided with a 99.8% chance of winning shouldn't be getting blown, right? Well, guess what, Buttercup? They blew the game. They blew it hard. We all warned Colorado that they had no size and tenacity. We warned them they had a long way to go before they were a legit contender. Did they listen? Fuck no. It's Buffalo-over. They lost the game in double overtime when everyone on the East Coast was sound asleep or partying the night away. Over 400 yards given up to Stanford in the second half and overtime. 17 penalties for 127 yards. Shameful display. Dion chucking stones in glass houses questions the heart of his players. When Prime and his crew failed to keep them focused whatsoever. A hilarious loss. And his haters are feasting on this L. Don't worry about locale of the week, sir. You can't trademark that phrase. It's in the public consciousness.
You blow it, man.
Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden!
Unit lost.
The bloodlust of the football gods will never be quenched. Amen.
Crowder creeps up to the 27. Returnable for Crowder. Right up the middle across the 35. There he goes! Crowder